Welcome back to another episode of Her Workplace Unfiltered. Thank you so much for being here today for another solo episode where I'm actually going to take you inside of year 2 of building her workplace. And I would encourage you to go back the past few episodes and listen to the last solo episode that I did of year 1, where I share what the first year was like, what experiences I had, where the company growth was, and what those lessons were that I learned, because it will give you context as to where we are as I share more about what year 2 has been like. Just to give you a sense of where we are now, we're entering year 3 and have been around for 2 years, which is wild. So let me take you back to, again, year 2, which was really a year defined by growth, clarity, and evolution. So to give you a quick summary, I launched Her Workplace in 2023. And that first year was really all about finding our footing, testing ideas, and learning what it really was like being a founder and building a startup, and particularly growing something with such a big mission and purpose. So, to take you back, during that first year, I tested a co working community business model that ended up not being the direction that I wanted to go in. And again, overall, the mission of Her Workplace has always been to elevate and support women in the workplace. It was never about a physical space. So that first year was testing and learning and actually going through a business pivot, pivoting from co-working to tech. So to back up, we're now entering year 2. And so this is fall of 2024. After going through a business pivot that summer and really starting to lean more into, okay, what is this going to be now? And how do we continue to build and grow from here? Mind you, I was also pregnant with my first child and due in September of 2024. So you can imagine me as a solo founder about to have a baby, just undergoing a business pivot and really just trying to hang on and keep going while all of these personal and professional changes are happening. Year 2 really felt different and honestly was so much harder than year 1. Year 2 was all about refining the vision, deepening the impact, and learning how to grow while staying true to the mission of what started Her Workplace in the first place. Year 2 brought so many new challenges, balancing momentum with sustainability, leading through uncertainty, and making tough decisions about the team, where to focus the energy, how to build the brand after a business pivot, and overall how to ensure that everything that we were doing continued to be tied to the mission. But that year also brought so many powerful moments of validation, really seeing and staying close to our customer through it all, and a lot of great progress that reminded me why this work matters so much. So, again, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of year 2, what growth really looked like, the things that changed, and the lessons that I learned as both a founder and leader. So, whether you're in the middle of growing something of your own or simply just navigating your next chapter, this conversation is for you. So, again, I want to reference back to year 1 of testing a co-working model, figuring out that it wasn't about a physical space that was going to help advance and support women in the workforce, that it was more about programming, workshops, coaching, mentorship, overall access to people and resources that were going to help women continue to advance, grow, and lead at work. So that foundation was always there, but it was more about what is the business plan that aligns with this mission and this foundation. So the summer of 2024, right before we were entering year 2, was all about making that pivot. So moving out of the physical space, redefining what is this platform? What's the network? What's the offering? We ended up keeping our memberships the same, didn't make any changes that took anything away from our current customers. If anything, we just continued to add more and enhance more to the offering. And during this time too, really leaned more into the technology and the digital offering and platform. Now, there was still a big component of the in-person element, providing access to physical spaces through a partnership that I built with a group that offers physical locations across the country. And this was amazing because it brought this new opportunity and momentum to say, okay, we've been doing in-person events and programming in New York City, but now with this partnership, is there an opportunity to expand that and to reach more women, particularly across the US? So that was a really great opportunity that was presented during the acquisition of that partnership that summer. In addition to that, there was more opportunity for the in-person events and programming, and again, ways that we could bring women together. So that's what I leaned into. And during that summer, started preparing for, okay, how do we expand our reach? Yes, we have all these amazing members that are in New York City, but how can we capture new customers and members in other cities? And so that's what I started with. We decided to launch in other cities, and the cities that we chose were major metropolitan cities across the US that really matched with the customer. So women primarily in corporate roles with Fortune 500 companies. And a lot of this too was driven by that physical space partnership of where they had those spaces and how could we further align that partnership with the cities that they were in. So chose to expand into Boston, Chicago, LA, and San Francisco outside of New York City. And said, okay, we need to do some like big events and launches in these cities. And again, here I am, like 8 months pregnant, about to have a baby. And so really leaned on my team to help support these launches and had them manage and handle the launches on the West Coast. So in September, while I was having a baby, we launched in LA and San Francisco. We hosted these big pop-up events. We brought women together in person. We shared the mission of her workplace, and it was incredible. And then in October, decided, okay, let's launch in Boston and Chicago. And this is crazy. I handled those launches. What was so interesting about having a baby during this time is I didn't know what to expect. I was building this company through like the first and second trimester. As I was reaching the final trimester, I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I don't know what to expect. This is my first child. I don't know how I'm going to come out of this on the other side. Like, is it going to take me weeks to recover? And unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to take a real maternity leave because this is a bootstrapped business. I didn't have a full-time team in place. I had part-time contractors. And I just didn't have the funding and the resources and the capacity to be able to step away. So it was definitely a risky situation that I was in, but I really just tried to take it day by day. And again, really relied on the incredible team that we had in place of, again, these like part of the baby in September. I was really surprised by how fast I bounced back. And what was crazy is I had this like sudden rush of adrenaline of, okay, I'm even more tied to my mission. I had a baby girl. And so I think that just brought more and more clarity of like, I've got to make this work. And I want to keep pushing and I want to keep going with building this platform because this is going to be my daughter's future. And so all of a sudden, I just felt this rush of energy and excitement. And that propelled me during October of managing these launches in Chicago and Boston. And so it was just a really crazy time of continuing to move forward and pushing that growth and pushing through those challenges to keep going. And what happened from those launches that fall was we ended up tripling our growth and our revenue. So we tripled our membership numbers and we tripled our revenue. And it was just incredible to see that momentum build. So after those launches, we started doing a lot of in-person events. Like I think we were doing 5 in-person events a month across these 5 cities. And it was incredible, but I knew that there was so much more that needed to be built, especially on the technology side. So ended up further enhancing and developing the platform and launched another iteration of the platform that was fully built from scratch. And how I fell into this was ended up finding a product team that was overseas to help rebuild our product, but from scratch so that we could have more control over the AI integration. And that is who we are now. We are a career development platform that does use AI to help women get easier access to the people and the resources and the opportunities to drive them forward. So towards the end of 2024, started to rebuild the platform, the second MVP. And that was really exciting because I started to see kind of my ideas more so come to life and had a lot of evidence from the platform that we had in place of, okay, what does it look like? How are we going to design it? How is it going to operate? What are all the features? What are the things that we can start integrating now? And we ended up launching the second MVP in early 2025. And it's the end of 2025 now. So it was just earlier this year that the second phase of the platform launched. It was exciting. It was challenging because, again, here I am postpartum trying to build the second phase of our platform and really pushing to keep going. And so launched the second MVP in early 2025. And during the launch, faced one of the most challenging moments I've ever faced in my entire career. What happened overnight was all of a sudden, due to the platform migration of customers, so we had to migrate our customers from one payment processing system to another. What happened during that migration is every customer was charged. And this was all happening overnight. And luckily, our product team jumped on it immediately after it happened. It ended up refunding everyone, but those refunds took time. And it was so difficult. navigating that challenge of, oh my gosh, we need to communicate to all the customers. We need to let them know what happened. The people that are having refunds that are pending, we need to also be open and communicative with them. And what I learned in that moment was really how to show up as a leader. And I'm the type of leader that I like to lead with transparency. I think it's better to be upfront and to be honest and to communicate than not to. And that's what I did. I reached out to all of our customers. I made sure everyone was okay. I let them know what was going on. I helped troubleshoot those that were impacted and were waiting to be refunded. And so it was a defining moment of, wow, like as a founder, at the end of the day, things fall on you. And I think that I hadn't experienced that yet in building a company. I hadn't had a situation that personally and professionally impacted me, but also all of that responsibility of making sure that our customers were okay, that weighed on my shoulders. That was not on my team. That was not on anyone else. I had to bear that burden. And that was really hard because you realize that this is fully your responsibility. You need to take care of your customers, your team. You need to manage the resources. You need to be the one to maintain the culture. And you have to be the one that makes those really hard decisions. So luckily we got out of it. It took some time to get everyone fully refunded. Banks don't process refunds right away. Not everyone got their money back right after it happened. It took a few days to process. But luckily, because we had built this really tight-knit network and our customers from day one were so aligned with me and what her workplace is, they understood. And that was another really important lesson is stay close to your customers, because during challenging times when you have to make tough decisions or things happen that are out of your control, you have that relationship with them and they can be understanding during those hard decisions and those really challenging times. So that was definitely an emotional and mental roller coaster that I had to go through for a few weeks. And leading through that uncertainty and change was really tough. But I knew that, okay, when you hit those challenging times, there's always an upside. You're going to come out of it and you're going to learn and you're going to grow. So after that happened, over the next few months, it was really about figuring out the next phase of growth. When you're continuing to grow a company and you're hitting different milestones, things have to change. And that's everything from how does the brand show up? Is there a change in how we're communicating what the product and what the offering is? Is there a change with the customers? Is there a more specific customer that we are supporting and impacting more? Are there changes that need to be made to the team? And that too, within the past several months, so after we launched the next phase of the product, I go through this really challenging time. We're about to hit the summer, and it really, during those few months, was all about getting reorganized and prepared for the next phase of growth.
Welcome to Ambition 2.0, the new podcast from Girl Boss, where we'll be exploring what it really means to have it all in work, family, identity, and self. and if it's actually worth it. I'm your host, Amanda Getz, a 2-time founder, 4-time CMO, mom of 3, and author of the new book, Toxic Grit: How to Have It All and Actually Love What You Have. This is not a hustle culture podcast. Ambition 2.0 is for high achievers who want to chase their big dreams without losing themselves or burning out in the process. Each week, I will be speaking with amazing women who've walked the tightrope of ambition and contentment. They're sharing their costly mistakes, lessons learned, and practical tips for how to have it all and actually love your life. Success shouldn't be a compromise. So hit follow and join us every Tuesday as we redefine what ambition looks like today. Welcome to a new approach to ambition.
So over the summer, I didn't take maternity leave. Quite frankly, I wasn't taking care of myself. I was just continuing to go full steam ahead, didn't take any time off. So I started to get burned out and hit some physical, emotional, and mental health challenges because I didn't take a break. And finally ended up this past summer taking a vacation with my husband, which was so nice. I was able to really get away and get that clarity, because I think another thing that I learned is, as a leader, you have to take care of yourself on a daily basis. You need to have those things that you do, those rituals that continue to keep you really strong throughout leading and managing and building and growing a company. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't show up as your best self for your team, for your customers, for your family. And that hit me really hard this summer of, okay, I need to really start taking better care of myself. And so what that has meant for me over the past several months has been taking real time off, not beating myself up if I need to take a break during the day, getting my exercise and workouts in, even if it's just a 10-minute walk outside, doing the things that keep me emotionally, physically, and mentally really strong. So during this time when I'm going through my own challenges, a lot of it was spending time as well reflecting on why I started Her Workplace in the first place. There were some key milestones that really marked the progress that we were making. And that was the impact with our customers. That was the people that we had integrated into the platform. So our coaches, our mentors, the people that were hosting workshops and events, brand partnerships, overall seeing and leaning into more of that growth and experience that gave me more insight on what the future of Her Workplace looked like. And there too was a lot of reflection that I took on, why did I start Her Workplace in the first place? Are we continuing to align with that vision and mission? How can we make it more clear to our customers and to the market that this is who we are and this is why we're doing the work that we're doing, and this is the impact that we're making? And so at the end of the summer and earlier this fall, I kind of went back to redefining the brand and digging more into who is the customer. Again, what's the impact? What's the messaging? How are we showing up externally? What does that brand look like? And through this evolution of getting clearer on us internally as well as how we were showing up externally, I had to make a lot of really tough decisions about what the team looked like. And what I realized was, through every phase of growth, you may have an incredible team that works one year and then may not work another year. And that's okay, because startups evolve, things change. You may need someone who has skills in a certain area in year 5 versus year 1. And that's what we have been going through and what kind of marked the end of year 2 for us was restructuring our team, me kind of redefining what does the company need the most. And again, in the beginning, it was more about that support of getting off the ground, building the systems, putting together SOPs, figuring out the offering, acquiring those first customers. And year 2 looked very different of, okay, we've built it, we're growing, we have customers. Now, how do we reach more momentum and build at scale while continuing to stay close to the impact that we're making our customers and the mission? And so that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned is that it's okay if you have to change things up, if you have to evolve, if you have to scrap one thing and pivot to another. It's all about testing and learning through the process, leading through that uncertainty. And I've really tried my best with my people and my team and customers and our partners to be as upfront and honest and transparent as possible. Because that's really important in building trust with people and continuing to grow and build upon your own reputation is being upfront. I have really strived to do that. And this is even more important as you continue to grow and scale as a leader is bringing people along with you for the ride. And 2, really leaning into who are those people that are supportive? Who are those people that champion me? Who are the people that really believe in this and are tied to the mission like I am? And I think that was another really hard lesson that took me some time to learn is that not everyone's going to support you, and that's okay. What I try to do on even a daily basis is drown out the noise. Don't listen to the people that are not supportive. Don't look at your competitors. Just keep your blinders on, keep doing what you're doing, and really lean on and rely on the people that are there cheering you on because they're the ones that are going to help you get across the finish line, whatever that finish line looks like. It's not going to be the ones that are trying to pull you back and hold you back. And that's a really hard thing to do is to stay positive and to drown out the negativity and the noise because, especially with social media, we can get really easily caught up in that. But I'm a true believer that what you put out into the universe is what you're going to receive. So the more that you can stay positive, the more that you can uplift and support others, the more that you will get that back in return. So some things that I'm just most proud of in year 2 is I'm proud of my own strength of how I've kind of navigated, personal challenges that I've faced, physical challenges, mental health challenges, things that I faced while trying to juggle being a new mom as well as building a startup from scratch and being in year 2, which was such a pivotal phase. I'm proud of the strength that I have built. And it's not perfect. Not every day for me is perfect. But like I said, I continue to tell myself I can't show up as the best mom, wife, leader, manager, founder if I'm not feeling good myself. And I'm proud of how I've been able to kind of navigate and still get through challenges on a daily basis. I am also proud of the impact that we're making at her workplace. I try not to put so much pressure on myself of particularly comparing myself to others of like, oh, well, we're in year 2, we've only done this. No, we've done a lot. And I'm really proud of being able to be agile and flexible and move quickly and pivot if needed. Another thing that I tell myself on a daily basis is test and learn, test and learn. And a lot of that comes from the support of my advisors too, of having those calls with them monthly and them reiterating to me, Marilynn, it's okay that it failed. Or Marilynn, it's okay that you're in this really challenging situation. You're going to get through it. Here's how I can support you. That's been really helpful, is having those mentors and advisors who are there to just continue to reiterate to me, no, this is normal. This is startups. Like, a lot of companies face these evolutions and go through challenges, and you're not alone. And that has been really, really helpful. So as we move forward into year 3, which I can't believe it, I'm thinking more about expansion, but how to expand and grow with even more impact. How can I continue to acquire and lean into those people that really believe in the work that we're doing? And yeah, this is a really big mission of trying to change the future of work for women, trying to get more women into leadership and managerial roles, and increasing opportunities for women in the workplace. Like, that does require systemic changes. But I've tried to think more about what's the everyday impact, because it's hard to make change, especially in an environment that we're in where not everyone supports women. But the real change actually comes from everyday wins, of when I hear from a member that says, Marilynn, like, wow, that was incredible that I was able to get on a call with this C-level executive because of you. Or Marilynn, her workplace helped me get a new job because I worked with a mentor who walked me through an interview process. And that was successful. It's those little wins that make change. And the more that I can continue to bring women together, to support one another, to access these resources and people that move them forward, that collective support will make bigger change happen. So, a message for all of you that are listening: take ownership over your own season of growth. So, I want you to think more about, if you are going through a challenging time or you're facing obstacles, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And just remember that this time is meant to be. It's meant to make you stronger. It's meant to help evolve you into your next phase of growth. So be excited about that and lean into it and take ownership of it, because there is an opportunity on the other side. So thank you again for being here with me. This was exciting to just share more about what year 2 has been like. And I can't wait to continue to share more about what the future of her workplace looks like. So thank you.